night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Alien Addict on this odd night for us, because it's a Wednesday. We don't usually do the Wednesdays. I want you to do all the normal stuff. I want you to like, share the podcast, go and do all those things. You can visit our merch store, have a look at some of the T-shirts we've got on offer. Without further ado, I'm going to bring my co-hosts on, and the man that loves NASA so much, ISS is in his name, Mr. Dave Weiss. Thank you for coming on our show.
My last name is ISS.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. And how are you guys doing? Great intro. I want to discuss it. I have lots of things to say about it.
That's Ollie. Ollie has a gift for the intros and outros. It's his only gift.
I've been listening
really good
to
one.
your podcasts that you've been on, and a few things stuck out for me.
All right. You guys are unwilling to admit it, but you guys are all flat earthers, okay? I know you're not willing to admit it. Maybe at the end of the show you're willing to admit it, but by the look of that intro, you're flat earthers. First, you showed me the Go Fast rocket, which is the only rocket that we had an uninterrupted feed. NASA, SpaceX, edit. It's a movie. What is going on? Oh, of course I'm amateur. I got the live stream going. So it goes up, it goes into a thicker medium, it goes kerplunk, right? And then when it turns on its side, all of a sudden we see something. And if you slow down the video that you guys had, it'll show it in a second. Here it comes, turning on its side right here. That's the moon. Okay. So look, flat Earth and the moon, big deal, right? Oh, the Earth is so big, you can't see the curve, right? So here's the problem. When that was taken off, it was in Arizona, about here. It was 11 a.m. You can see one time zone over, it's noon. Wherever the sun is, it's noon. And about 12 time zones over is where the moon was, over Australia. So if this was the Earth and that rocket took off over Arizona, over Arizona? Here's Arizona. It would be a millimeter off the ball. And that moon is below the ball. How could you see it?
Well, Dave, you are on a UFO channel, so what if it was just a big orb UFO?
Yep, that's exactly what I was thinking.
Well, we zoomed in on it. It's the moon. It's totally the moon. And now, is the moon a UFO? Who the heck knows? No one knows what the moon is. But whatever that thing is that we call the moon, that's what we saw. That makes perfect sense. I mean, if you look at NASA and their aeronautics, all their flight manuals, everything, CIA documents, they all say for all of their experiments, all of their testing, they treat the Earth as a level, non-rotating plane. All flight manuals say a level, non-rotating plane. That doesn't sound like a unlevel, spherical, spinning rock in an impossible space vacuum. A level, non-rotating plane. That's what we're dealing with. That's what every God-given sense tells us. But since I am on an alien channel, I want to tell you something. I agree. I haven't watched all of your stuff. I agree with all of the alien stuff that you guys talk about. Extraterrestrials visiting us, crashing, governments hiding it, covering it up, but you're looking at it from the wrong paradigm. It's coming from here in the outer space, not outer space. Outer space is a fantasy land. It's scientifically impossible. We can discuss that today. But extraterrestrials are here, thousands of miles away. Thousands is nothing when you start talking light minutes, light years, whatever. Those are ridiculous fantasy numbers that make the human mind just give up, right? Outer space cannot exist the way it is described.
So you're talking from beyond Antarctic.
Beyond what is Antarctica? What do you know about Antarctica? Antarctica is no one's allowed to explore there independently. Wait a minute, there's 100 companies. You can buy a trip. You can go to Antarctica. That's true, but you can only go to the very, very tip of Antarctica. A little place they call Rothschild Island or Deception Island. Isn't that funny?
It's an interesting name.
Yeah, interesting name. So I just want to pull up where is my Antarctic basin?
I know someone who was just there.
Yeah, well, what did they see? Penguins, some ice. They weren't allowed to go, independently exploring on their own.
Voted in. Pictures of penguins.
I will say this, Dave, while you're bringing it up, something the UFO community has very much in common with the flat Earth community is, one, we don't trust the government.
Yep.
Two, we don't trust what NASA tells us.
No.
And three, we believe there are beings that exist that we don't know what they are.
We're 100% in agreement with that. But the way that we look at it makes it actually possible, makes it probable. The way you guys looks at it, it makes it less likely than Bugs Bunny being real. Okay? We're going to talk about space and what space is, what you've been brainwashed. We were all brainwashed. I love space. I watched Star Trek, Lost in Space, Star Wars, every Battlestar Galactica. I watched them all. I watched them multiple times. I watched every space movie. I lived it. I wanted to be an astronaut at one point. Everything. I loved it all. I thought it was the coolest crap ever. I took 4 years of astronomy, right, in college. And then I found out astronomy is pseudoscience and astrology is the real science. And then when I found out, that dot that they're telling us I'm looking at is, trillion light years away or whatever, that's impossible. It's all nonsensical. So what I would like to do, and you guys can take me anywhere you want, I'd like to talk about the scientific impossibility of space. Then I'd like to speculate what's beyond Antarctica. How's that sound?
Yep. Sounds fantastic.
You lead us, mate. I mean, we're not here.
We're here for it, man.
We're not here to do any debunking. So
Listen, I want you to ask me the hardest questions. I want you to challenge everything I say, and I want you to believe nothing I say. I want you to go verify it yourself. But I'm going to give you a different paradigm. When we went to school as kids, there's globes in the classes. One of the first worksheets we brought home was the orbit of the sun and the moon and the earth, that the moon goes around the earth and the earth goes around the sun. That's one of the first things they teach us. Why are they teaching us that in school? Right. Mm-hmm. And one of my earliest memories, I tell the story a lot, but I'll tell it again, is first grade or kindergarten. The teacher brought us outside. Maybe it was first grade. And he took a bucket of water on a rope, swung it around and said, "That's gravity." And I was actually smart enough to say, but wait a minute, if the water's on the outside of the ball, wouldn't you have to turn the bucket the other way? And the teacher goes like, oh, crap, he goes over, gets his book, and he shows me this book. I remember it. It had like highlights from like 10 years of different teachers highlighting it with different color pens. And he goes, look right here. He goes, this is how they told me to teach it. And that's how I'm going to teach it. Okay. Even though I stumped him with my question. And that was like one of my earliest memories. And it's funny that kind of relates to what I'm doing now. So we're brainwashed before we have the ability to question authority. You know, teacher is a god. You know, the guy in a lab coat is a scientist. Science, right? Science. And by the way, flat earthers believe in the scientific method. Unfortunately, the science community does not use the scientific message. They use the pseudoscience method. They tell you something, they make it up, and then they base everything on it. Everything in cosmology is based on the radius of the Earth. You know how they got the radius of the Earth? Do you guys know?
No.
So one day, Venus transited the sun, whatever that is. They said it's going by the sun. And Venus is about the same size as Earth. And they had somebody on the East Coast and somebody on the West Coast filming it. And one of them started earlier and ended. And the other one, they started and ended at different times. They did some really good math, figuring the size and this and that. And they figured out the diameter of the Earth. All right. The problem is they assume that Venus is the size of Earth. I think Venus is not even a physical thing. I think it's right here within our atmosphere. I think it could be the size of a yoga ball. Okay. I don't know, but they're assuming it's the size of Earth. When we can actually prove that that's not even measurable. So everything in cosmology is based on the radius of the Earth, the distance of the sun, the distance of all the planets. And if you change one of those things, everything has to change in proportion. Right? They tell us the sun is 400 times bigger than the moon, and it's also 400 times farther than the moon, so they look like they're the exact same size. Or maybe they're just the exact same size.
So,
okay? Go ahead.
I own a telescope, and
I've had many.
I look at planets, and one thing you said does stick out to me, that they just look like kind of like blurry twinkly dots, and when you zoom in, you can get some detail on them. I understand what you're saying about them just being like bodies up there in the sky that just kind of glow through. What do you actually think they are as a flat earther? What do you think they are?
Well, they used to be called wandering stars, and they're all named after gods. Maybe they're fallen angels. I don't know, man. I mean, I can only speculate. Anything that we can't touch, we can't tell. But people's like, all the planets around. If I told you this was the moon or the sun, which one would you think it is, the moon or the sun?
I'm going to say moon.
Okay. And it looks pretty spherical.
Your garden lamp.
It's a garden lamp, but it's spherical. It's spherical, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if I bring it forward, it's a train and it's not spherical. Look, it's got rectangles and it's got red lights and blue lights, right? But bring it out here, that's how we see. Now, I'm not saying that Saturn and Jupiter and those things that we're seeing aren't spherical. I think they are spherical, but the lights in my ceiling have nothing to do with the shape of my floor, right? And when we look at planets, like first, the stuff that NASA shows us is just stupid. I mean, right? This is Jupiter. Okay, this is one of the 2023 picture of Jupiter, right? That's pretty cool, right? Right. What planet do you think this is?
Jupiter.
Look, yeah.
It's Jupiter, but that's because I framed it as what planet is it? So you're saying Jupiter. If you zoom in on it, it's just a pond with ducks and grass. Okay. I'm just showing you how stupidly easy it is to fool people. I was fooled by it too, so don't feel bad.
Yeah.
All right. And we have pictures of NASA artists creating not to scale, but models of Jupiter and other planets and the moons and everything. And this is exactly what they show us in the books, these things that they're painting, right? This is the famous picture of Jupiter from 2014. It's in every textbook. We all know it. 2016, they said, Jupiter has a magnetic core because we have the northern lights. Look at this. Could you guys do that? I don't even think you need a Photoshop to do that. I think you could do it in MS Paint, right? But look, all of the clouds are exactly the same. All of them. Look at the little squiggle here, little squiggle there. These are gaseous clouds that are spinning in different directions, right? Mm-hmm. And this is from NASA. So we're already in agreement. NASA is full of crap. But this is why people think there's planets, because of what NASA shows us, right?
So if we're talking about NASA, when do you think the we'll say NASA PSYOP. When do you think that really got rolling?
In
And
1950, in 1958, 59, whenever they did Project High Jump, which is going, we'll get back to Antarctica in a second. They discovered, okay, maybe that's when the leaders that we see recognize that this Earth is an extended plane. And as soon as they saw that, they started the Antarctic Treaty, which went into effect in, I think, in 1961 or something like that. Don't get my dates wrong. And all the nations in the world eventually signed it. All the major nations in the world have signed it. All the major nations in the world can agree on two things. Nobody can independently explore Antarctica, and everybody's got to get the bug juice shot in their arm. It's amazing how they can fight over everything, but those two things they agree upon. And this is all about control. I noticed in the title you said, why does it matter? We're going to finish with why does it matter? Because this is the most important topic of all time, right? Which sounds crazy, but you'll see in a moment that it is. So if I don't lose my train of thought, where was I going with that? What was I saying?
You talk about
Wait, I was going down a specific track. I had a great track.
Sorry, you were explaining the planets. NASA having the same photographs on.
Yeah. So it'll come back to me. So what I'm showing you here, this, NASA shows us crap like this, but this isn't even from NASA. Those are the bottoms of frying pans. So again, it's so easy to fake things. This is what NASA shows us Mercury looks like. But when you zoom in on it, this is it. Now, is this out of focus? Maybe it is. There's so many good videos now that have planets, wandering stars, whatever you want to call them, in focus and then left of focus and right of focus, and showing you the differences between what you see. And they all have incredible personality, if you will, or differences. This is Mars. Now, this one I think is out of focus. But we're seeing these cymatic patterns, this circle inside of a circle. There is a Bible verse that says that the stars are angels. No, that the stars are angels. Well, these are wandering stars, and that they can be described as a wheel inside a wheel. I just heard that the other day, and I've seen so many images, videos of stars and planets where I'm seeing this wheel inside a wheel thing. It's very, very, very interesting. Again, zooming in, is this in focus? I'm not sure. When you go out in and out of focus, different things happen. But seeing something out of focus actually reveals a lot of information sometimes. So that's
what a lot of them look like to me as well.
Yeah,
like
that
this
was like
one.
a wolf in a wheel.
That one was serious. This is Venus. Venus. It's the size of Earth. Look at this thing. I don't know. It looks. I don't know what it looks like. Yeah, it looks alive. So here's the thing. Everything is or was or still is alive. Everything from rocks to planets to stars to us to food, everything. And we live in this electric living system. And when people understand that we live on the dielectric plane in the middle of this toroidal field, and that's where we exist in this 3D body. Neil deGrasse Tyson says we're made from stardust. He's not lying, because I think, this is me, I'm not speaking for anybody else, I think our souls, our eternal souls, lie in the stars. The stars never move because they're perfect. They're angelic. They're angels. So they don't need to move. They don't need to change. They don't need to do anything. And they never do. That blows the heliocentric model away. And then we have our experience where our soul, if you will, comes here, avatar, meat suit, whatever you want to call this thing. And we have this experience. We're expanding the mind of the creator. So we are made from stardust. Right? They're always telling us, giving us little clues, little clues. When I showed you that picture of Jupiter before, this is NASA showing Jupiter, the Voyager, I think it was. This is hours, days, or week. I don't know. But look at the clouds moving in different directions. The storm is spinning, but those two pictures exactly the same. Those two things right there, you're finished. It's over. NASA's finished. But I don't know why I'm going on and on about NASA, just maybe for some of your listeners. Because NASA is complete and total garbage, right? And this is the latest picture of Pluto. They say this is a photo of Pluto, but NASA admits they have no photos of Earth. All right? Weird? Is that weird?
Sorry, go on, Ollie.
No, go on, Lee.
I was just going to say. We've pulled NASA quite a lot on this channel before. like the stuff that comes up from the ISS is just it is wild how more people don't ask questions about what NASA is up to.
The glass of water.
The glass of water on the Chinese space station. It's crazy.
So the NASA, the original space station, most incredible construction project of all time, but they forgot to take any photos or videos of it being built, right? Which would be the most videoed construction project ever. You know, Neil, go over here, connect this, connect that, do this, right? But these guys in their giant snowboarding suits with their giant gloves are assembling this thing in space airtight that has never been assembled before on Earth, right? And they don't take any pictures or videos. China, just last year or 2 years ago, whatever it was, all of a sudden they announced they had a space station up and they forgot to put any pictures or videos of it being assembled also. It's up there. It's just up there. And I don't know if you can, I haven't ever seen it. I know that you can track the thing that they call the International Space Station, but the Chinese space station doesn't track, I don't think. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong on that. So don't, globies that are going to be all over this, laying comments crazy.
Oddly enough, I remember. Yeah, sorry. Just quickly with you saying it being constructed. I think it was you that said it on a podcast I listened to years ago. How strange you found it that you couldn't see videos of it being constructed because we live in a world where everything that can be filmed in HD is filmed in HD and broadcast. That's
Crow's Law from Crow 777 Radio. Great podcast if you really want to learn stuff.
I started out listening to Crow years ago. I think he was into UFOs back then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, Crow, we all grow. We all grow. Crow might have been the start of the flat Earth movement when he filmed the lunar wave, right? This is, I think this is the Chinese space station, and there's all sorts of CGI glitches. You saw where the rope was, that strap was going somewhere, and then if you watch this guy's foot, there's a layer here. It just goes in between the layer. If you watch his foot, it'll right there. You see it?
That's wild.
Yeah, well, it's not wild. It's fucking CGI. Excuse my language. Yeah. Sorry, guys.
No,
we swear all the time.
As much as you want.
I know. I'm sorry for the woman that's listening with her 10-year-old who loves this stuff, and I swore. You know what? Get over it, everybody. Teach your kids how to swear when they're 4, okay? And then you don't have to worry about it. That's it. So again, all sorts of crazy issues. Here's on the ISS. No one wants to pay attention to this, right? This was in 1999, Christmas. Cool. Look at them. They all got hats up there. We're spending money to send them Christmas hats. But then they did it again, and now there's gravity. There's no gravity. Okay. So what are they doing? And the NASA apologists will go, well, they all went there and they grabbed their thing and they pulled it down and just to make it look nice for the picture. That's what they're going to say. How do you argue with that other than you're a NASA apologist and you would say anything?
Well, no, obviously they fitted those elf hats with wire inside them so they could move them and animate them as they wanted to.
Yeah, they got money to burn.
They get $80 million a day, and they can't get their feet on the right foot, right? They can't get their shoes on the right foot, right? It's incredible, the amount of fakeness. We could spend all day going over this, but there have so many issues on the ISS, but if you find one, this is the National Buoyancy Lab. This is where they test. Like water tries to get in your suit, in space, air tries to get out of your suit. Okay, so it's the opposite. But during this thing, all of a sudden we saw a green screen. If we watch right there, bam, there's a green screen. Why do they have a green screen? And there used to be video before the YouTube apocalypse where they took everything down that showed the actual green screen in the water, a roll down green screen in the water. And I show people this. I go this is in the pool and this is in space. All right. Well, which one is it? Did I add the pool or did I add the space? The answer is I don't remember which one I did. It's one or the other. Okay. But it's absolute insanity. And you see stuff like this. Look at the dragon right here. And then when the camera switches, look at the Earth. Whoa, it's sideways to the Earth now.
Yeah, I've seen this with that one's just.
Yeah, but a lot of people just can't wrap their mind around it. This guy's playing with something and he dropped it. Why did it go down? He's like, oops, let me look. He caught it after it flopped down. And then stuff like this. This is this guy's going here. What is this door for? Is it airtight? Right? Why does it have those browning edges? Okay. It looks like a tortilla. Right? I think it's just things it's like rusting in the water. I think this is a shot that's done in water. They do some in water. They do some in zero-G planes. They do some on wires. They confuse you so you can never figure it out. You can never figure it out. Right? This one's on wires. Now, this woman is hypnotized. She thinks she's on the ISS. She's on the high. They said you're going to answer questions, and at the end, you're going to do this flip, and she screwed up the flip, and then they quickly cut away. But looking at this woman's eyes, I used to do hypnosis. I learned in college. And this woman is under a deep hypnotic trance. So she actually thinks she's on the space station. Pretty crazy. You guys ever see the
interesting idea? So do you think some of these people that are on the space station are like literally turned on as like programmable actors?
They do it all. Like that one, completely programmed. Other ones, liars, willful liars. The other ones, unwillful liars, like the original moon landing, Neil Armstrong. I think those guys were told at the last minute that they're faking it, and then they had to go out and lie, and they had big issues, and that's why Buzz Aldrin became an alcoholic, and Neil never talked to anybody, and his mother committed suicide, and all sorts of stuff that's just crazy. One guy, I forget the guy's name, he wrote a report exposing NASA. And then before the report got released, he and his wife and kids got hit by a train, all died. The train was owned by NASA. They raided his house and took everything, and the report never showed the light of day. That's just a weird thing, right? Weird thing. And then they were very excited. They had some fresh fruit. The dragon came up and brought some fresh fruit, and they were playing with the lemon, and look what happens. Okay, this is called augmented reality. The lemon is not there. Watch the hand. Show it again, a little closer, a little slower. Not real. Totally not real.
Or he's not human.
Well, the hand looked a little like a claw. It's pretty interesting, right? So that's augmented reality. Other times they're using green screens, and sometimes the green screen glitches out. Like, lots of times there are things that will glitch out, like his hand just doubled there. But watch, when he moves really quick, something happens, and boom, there's the green screen right there. Green screen right there. I have a green screen behind me, but I'm better at it than they are.
So why do you think they would? Because I'm with you on the ISS stuff, 100%. There's something funky going on up there, or whatever it is. But why do you think they would be using a technology that is just so? Because we speak about technology in this community that whatever the government have is so far ahead of what we have. Are they just doing it because they're taking the piss out of us?
They've had Photoshop since the early 1960s, and they don't release stuff. I mean, I think they had it in the 1800s, but I can't prove any of that because I wasn't there. But
why do you think they're still fucking it up?
Okay, I have several answers, and I don't know which one is the right answer. One, they're just friggin' retarded, and they're stupid, and they suck at what they do, and they're liars, and they're moving fast, and whatever. Two, they're like, hey, let's see how bad we can make this, and those stupid sheep will still follow. I mean, look what happened in 2020, and with everybody. Everyone just listened and did whatever they said. It's absolutely nonsense. I think they're having fun. They're laughing at us. They're literally laughing at us. Right? Last thing on NASA, and then we're going to go back to Antarctica. This ball is a real ball. It has helium in it. So it's neutrally buoyant. She's playing with it. Okay? That's not real. Watch. Show it again. Not there. Now it's there. They even made a little Star Trek beaming noise and graphic, and now she's playing with it. This is how they do it. It's called augmented reality. There's consumer versions of this that you can do stuff and move things around and play and whatnot. That's all they're doing. She's either looking at a monitor or she has contacts in that are showing her where things are, and they screw up all the time on this stuff. So I think that it's a combination of them screwing up and them seeing how far they can push it, and just and having a big laugh about it. Yeah,
It does kind of beam in.
this is one of the things they had Chris Hatfield here. He's got a water and he's wringing it out.
Yeah,
now this is done in a 0G plane. Okay. And if you watch this whole thing, it's edit, because they only have 20 to 40 seconds of 0G. So go back here. This is being, the same thing is being done on a 0G plane. It's the exact same experiment. And it's the same. It's literally the same. And
I've never seen them do that. I've seen the water ringing thing out before, but I've never seen it being done on the zero G plane. One of the things I've always found strange about the footage like that is when you see, like, first of all, they need someone to do some decent cable management inside the ISS, it would seem. But the idea,
that's crazy.
But the idea that you would have like free floating water around all that electrics, when everything there is supposedly stopping you being like sucked into the vacuum of space, it feels weird. It feels a weird thing to do.
Just to let it float around like that when exposed to electronics. Not only that, the temperature differentials. We probably don't want water touching the outside of this, and even the glass. Like that's, a horrible idea.
Here's the thing: the solar panels they have up there, they wouldn't be able to run the lights, let alone the air conditioning and the heating. And there's a 500-degree swing of temperature every 45 minutes on that thing. How does any of that work? Right? How does any of that work? Their lies just come back to bite them, but people are just too lazy to think about it. Because when you're in the sun, it's like 400 degrees, and when you're in the shade, it's super below zero, and none of it matters. One more thing: this is on a 0G plane. This is on a 0G plane that looks like the space station. They were doing a simulation. Okay, this was live on television, and all of a sudden, the guy slammed into the wall. Right here, they just slammed into the wall. And they cut away from the feed. And I remember this was like in the 1970s or 80s. I forget exactly when it was. But they said we're going to have a short talk with the astronauts on the ISS, or maybe it was Skylab. I forget. I think it was the shuttle. And they said we have to wait until they're within satellite range, and then we're going to get them. So basically, the plane's getting ready. It's like, okay, go, and they're on. And when they did this. I think I have a better one. Something happened. They came out of the parabolic arc a little early. I'm trying to find the whole thing. They came out of the parabolic arc a little bit early, and one of the guys literally caught a roll of duct tape and a ball with one hand like a friggin' pro. Like he's done it 1,000 times. Right? I don't know if you can really see it. It's right here. I got a better video on it, but he just did it like that. Wasn't a catastrophic shift of the space station, which was, they said it was. It was the end of his probably 50th parabolic flight of the day, and he's just like, okay, let's do it again. Grab the props. And when you look at this stuff, the problem is people just don't look at this stuff. People hear a news story, they watch a headline, they see a picture, and they're like, wow, this is the greatest thing ever, space. Because we're all married to that ball. Back to Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest land on Earth.
Can I just say, on the ISS, we are 100% with you on that one.
I'm aware. That's why I don't want to waste any more time on it.
Where are we going on there?
All right. So first, so let's just wrap it all up. NASA's completely full of crap. We're there together, right? So NASA is the only way that people say that we live on a ball. So just take that out. Prove the Earth is a ball without using NASA. You can't do it.
Am I right in thinking that the Universal logo, like the spinning globe and the Universal logo, was used before we'd sent anything to space as well?
The Universal pictures.
The old Universal logo. I'm almost convinced that was used before we'd sent anything up to take pictures.
1927, and then the first photograph of Earth was 1978. And it's exactly the same.
That's a pretty good guess, isn't it?
What is
predictive
it?
Programming.
The Guy Ritchie movie Revolver. We're talking about the rules of the con. the bigger the con and the older the con, the more people think it can't be that big because it would have been found out, and it can't be that old because somebody would have figured it out. Like they don't have to put in a lot of effort at this point.
Yeah, and you can't keep a secret because it would, they can't even keep a blowjob a secret in the White House, right? But that was literally what was going on during that. That was going on during the Iran-Contra mess, where Clinton and his buddies and everyone were bringing cocaine into the United States, and then all of a sudden everyone cares about the cum spot on a dress. Okay, I mean it's crazy how easily we're distracted. Like squirrel. And Americans are like, oh, squirrel, and they forget everything else that's going on. It's unbelievable. It's actually believable.
It's totally
sad.
Believable. Yeah.
It's totally sad. All right. So Antarctica is the highest land on Earth by far. If you look up, the average height of Antarctica, I forget the numbers, but it's literally 5 times the height of any other country, right? Antarctica is the shoreline of our world, the shoreline of our pond, right? So here we go. Antarctica is the shoreline of our world. It's right here. A pond needs a shoreline that's higher than the water. Antarctica is that shoreline. Now, there might be holes in Antarctica and there might be more stuff beyond, but we'll call everything beyond 60 degrees south Antarctica. Okay? 60 degrees south is that way, right? You don't know where, the Antarctica is not a continent at the bottom of the ball. What they did is they cut it out, right? And then they wrapped it around a sphere and they said, you can't go here. You can go to this little tip right here, but you can't go anywhere. You can't explore any of this. Well, it's cold. There's really nothing there. You can't even grow a tree there. Why would I even want to go there? Because this isn't what it is. Antarctica is out there. Antarctica, I used to say it's probably bigger than all of the continents and all of the oceans combined. I think it's 100 million times bigger than all of that. Okay. I think it goes on for on and on and on, but I want the right to go and explore. Like we used to have the right to, explore this world, with giant airships and whatnot. So that's how this is a prison for your mind, So what is flat Earth then? So flat Earth is we live in the Antarctic basin. So think of the Earth as a massive plain. What's it on? We can talk about that in a little bit. All right, it's a massive plain, way massive. And there's ponds. There's one pond. We live in a pond. And at the very center of that pond is a magnetic mountain. Call that the North Pole. So if you're out on a boat and you're sailing around, your compass is always going to point to the center of the pond. So if you go east and west, you're going to circle right around and come right back to where you were, right? So east and west are circles. Here we go. I'll show you this. So here's our pond. Here's the North Pole right here. And the compass needle's pointing to the north. I'm trying to push it west. West is a circle around that. Now, that doesn't prove the Earth is flat because it works on a flat Earth and a globe Earth the same way, right? East and west are circles. And let's jump forward here. All right, and now I'm going east, and east is a circle equidistant from the center. It's the same on a globe. Now, if I try to dead reckon west, that stick is pointing west on the compass. And now if I don't correct, I just follow the stick. What's the compass? It turns. I'm heading south. South is every direction away from the center. Put your back to the North Pole and walk away. If a tree in the yard was the North Pole and 4 of us are on 4 sides of that tree, we have our back to the tree. We all walk forward in separate directions. That's south. South is out to the outer space. All right. So now that we have that laid down, let's talk about space for a second. How far is the nearest star, excluding our sun, in the heliocentric model?
Isn't it something like quite a few trillion?
4.5 light years away, 25 trillion miles.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, whoever watches my podcast is not allowed to answer this question. How long is 1 trillion seconds?
Don't know.
It's like 36 fucking years or something.
I don't think that's an official
measurement. No, 303.
300 years?
It's a lot of, is it about 300 years?
Very, very close. 31,000 years. Okay. So
I don't feel like that was very close.
A trillion seconds is 31,000 years. I've said this 1,000 times, and it's still shocking every time I hear myself say it. 31,000 years. You can't even fathom what 31,000 years is. Okay. I don't think the Earth has been here for 31,000 years, but that's a trillion seconds. The Earth is less than a trillion seconds old, in my opinion. All right. So 31,000 years. So if it's 4.5 light years is 5 trillion miles. If we got on a ship and we're going a mile per second, no one's ever gone that fast. Mile per second. And we went for a trillion seconds. We've gone a trillion miles. We've gone, and it's taken us 31,000 years. And we have to do that 24 more times to get the closest star. Okay. Mm-hmm. All right. That's stupid. But if we get a faster ship that goes, Elon just, he's a buddy and he hooked me up. We got a ship that goes 100,000 miles an hour. Unfathomable. Right. It's only going to take us 28,000 years to go 1 trillion miles. Okay. We got to do that 4 more times. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Do the math wrong. 28,000 years to make it all the way there. 25 trillion miles. 20,000 years. Still absolutely stupid. Absolutely stupid. The other thing is space is a void of pressure. And, we know that gas violently fills the available space. You blow up a balloon, it's trying to escape and fill up the place. Suck the air out of the room, the balloon explode. If you had a box of air and you walked into a room with lower pressure or no pressure, a vacuum, and you open up the box, whoosh, the air is going to fill the room. Going to fill the room instantly. High pressure violently fills the available space. Okay, always, everywhere, except in space. In space, hydrogen and helium, which defy gravity on Earth, collapse upon themselves and create stars at sizes that you can't even comprehend. Our sun is one of the smallest classified stars in the whole galaxy, they tell us, and you can't even fathom the size of our sun. They say it's 186,000 miles across. Okay, that's our burning ball of gas, 186,000 miles across. Helium and hydrogen, it holds on to Venus and Mercury and Earth and all the other planets all the way out to Pluto, but it doesn't pull on our moon. It ignores all of the moons because the planets are holding on to the moons, right? Mm-hmm. They tell us that Jupiter, that's made out of hydrogen and helium, has more gravity than all of the other planets combined. Hydrogen and helium, I said, defy gravity. So how much hydrogen and helium do you need before it collapses upon itself, creates a planet or a star, and it makes gravity? Okay? This stuff is absolutely retarded, right? It's the dumbest stuff ever, but we were brainwashed into just believing it. And they were like, this is a fact, don't question it, and base your entire life on this nonsense. So we've spent 28,000.
It's not just not question it, it's you're a fool if you even decide to think about questioning it.
You get othered for questioning it.
Absolutely.
We will have people unsubscribing just for interviewing you because they just can't.
But tell them they can win
those people anyway.
3 Bitcoins for 1 globe proof. If you think I'm stupid, take my Bitcoins. 3 Bitcoins. All you need is 1 proof we live on a globe. Okay, 1 proof. And before you do that, go to my website, flatearthdave.com. There's great videos there. My app, if you want to get the app, it's $3. It is the loophole. It is the way around Google censorship. Watch the daily video each day for 2 weeks, and then you'll be a flat earther. Or go to the frequently asked questions and see if your question is answered there. Right?
Are you that convinced?
I'm not convinced. I know that we don't live on a globe.
No,
I know.
Are you that convinced that if they binge watch it, they will be a flat earther?
It's scientifically impossible to watch those videos and still believe in the globe. On my website, if you scroll down, you'll see a big picture of me, and it says crash course. And there's videos that YouTube is hiding from you, and watch the first 3 or any 3. And you'll be a flat earther. But here's the problem: your ego, your conscience knows that's probably true and won't let you do it. Right? If you're unable to go and take the time and watch that, well, it's too stupid. It's too stupid. Neil deGrasse Tyson says we don't have time. We don't want to give flat earthers any time because their stuff is too stupid. Yeah, our stuff is taken over. Our stuff is ruling, taking over the internet. We were the #1 searched term on YouTube in 2017, and they took down the scoreboard as soon as that happened. They took down the scoreboard. Remember when you used to search, it tells you how many people searched for that thing, or how many terms. These are just the people that have my app in the United States. This is only some of them. Okay. It's pretty crazy how fast this is growing. So they don't want people to know how important this topic is. I think I lost my train.
I was going to ask you this, actually. I was going to ask you whether, because I realized like around the 2017 mark, when you were looking for flat Earth stuff, it all started to disappear. You would just get all the debunked stuff.
Yeah.
The people like Eric Dubay disappeared, the NASA channel, all that sort of stuff. Do you still think? Do you still feel it has the same sort of momentum that it had back then?
Oh, absolutely. They're just hiding it. It's growing faster and faster because of a lot of the hard work that a lot of us are doing and getting the information out there. The problem is it's all being hidden. You can search aliens and Bigfoot and Loch Ness Monster and fairies and on the Hollow Earth and Crater Earth, and boom, YouTube will show you all the videos. No problem. But you search flat Earth, and you come across any flat Earth video, there'll be a Wikipedia debunking. Oh, flat Earth is an ancient, stupid thing that's been debunked, and it blah blah blah. But they never tell you how, right? So they're telling you not to look there. Maybe you want to look there. Here's another thing. Let's say one of you guys was interested in skinning crocodiles, and you remember you saw a great video 5 years ago, and you watched it on YouTube, and you saw one last week. You can go into YouTube history and search crocodiles, and up will come all of your history of all of the stuff that you've searched on crocodiles. Okay, great. So you can go and watch a bunch of my videos, Jeranism's videos, Globebusters, real flat Earth videos, Eric Dubay, and they'll be right there in your recent history. You'll see them. Okay, they'll be there in your recent history. But if you search flat Earth, and all those videos you watch are tagged with flat Earth, if you search flat Earth, none of those videos will show up, and propaganda videos will show up in their place. That's the only topic that happens with.
Mm-hmm. I think it is pretty undeniable. I think it's probably the most censored like conspiracy theory on YouTube until the jab stuff happened a few years ago.
Yes.
And what's funny is the professional anti-flat earthers, and I say they're paid or possessed. I think when I don't even want to mention the names, but there's about 4 or 5 of them that just 24/7, that's all they do, and they just make up excuses, and they're all on the same page. They're all patriotic, support the troops, get the jab, CV is real, the Earth is a globe, and NASA's awesome, and they all have the exact same playbook. So to me, I don't know if it's paid or possessed. I don't think there's much of a difference. So
you said you won't mention them, but that was something that I did want to ask because in the UFO community there is a lot of bickering. Do you get that in the flat Earth community?
Oh, it's unbelievable how bad it is. It's so stupid that I just kind of mind my own business. I do the best that I can. And I take critical advice pretty well when people are just nice about it. Like, hey, maybe you want to do this. And so many people help me with all the stuff that I present. They give me pictures and they show me videos and stuff. I'm just putting it together and presenting it. I make some of my own content. But if there are people that are a little bitchy, without mentioning any names, I just ignore them. I ignore them. Even if they have good content. Okay. Even if they have good content. So, listen, everyone has their own problems, and I'm not going to make it my problem. I do the best that I can to get on shows like yours. So let's get back to the aliens for a second. So we go. I know. I remember where I was going. Outer space is scientifically impossible. By the way, 28,000 years, we make it to that star, and we realize there's only a couple dead planets there. Shit. We got to go find another star. And guess what? The next star is 100 trillion miles away. Okay. We got to do that 4 times as far just to get to the next star. I think that you're going to get tired of my dad jokes by then. And it's going to be just a horrible trip. And it's just an impossibility. You can't have a void of nothing in space with burning balls of gas. It's just stupid, right? It's just absolutely stupid. But if you go, let's go here. I'm going to go to my images section. I'm going to say maps. This is on the app. Oh, this is interesting. This is the map of the United Nations, the International Maritime Organization, World Meteorological Organization, and International Civil Aviation Organization. They're all using flat Earth maps. Weird? Little weird? Is that a little weird? Can it get a little weird? Anybody?
How do you feel about
it? Isn't?
What's that?
I was just going to say, isn't weird because it's inclusive, isn't it? I can kind of see why you would want to spread it out and show everything, because it's an entire. If we look at the globe model and you want to spread that out and keep everybody inclusive, you want to show everybody's little location. So maybe that's why they're just being nice.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
So, you guys are familiar with the Prague clock?
Yes.
Yeah, the Prague clock is an ancient clock. And this is if you look right here, there's a flat Earth map in here. This takes 26,000 years to go around. This is a whole. We don't have time to go into all of this, but it shows the great cycle. But if I'm gonna have to pull it up somewhere else. They changed it. Let me just show you something. Maps. There it is. Maps, Prague clock. I can find it.
It's funny we keep talking about NASA's. We've actually had some NASA guys on the show. I actually have friends that work at NASA,
and they might not be lying about anything. The compartmentalization.
That's the kicker. No, we've talked about this, and one of my friends had made an excellent point. He's like, whether it's flat or it's round, you and I ain't getting off it. So,
well, I don't know if that's the case. If you believe in the heliocentric world, that is not the case. I forget what I did with that map, but it basically they changed it to a globe. They literally changed it to be a globe. Now in Prague, if you want to change literally a friggin' tiny little wall on a old building, you have to go through like 100 loopholes and committees and historical committees. But the clock, oldest clock in the world, they changed that without any approvals anywhere. Again, all of these little things, it's a preponderance of evidence that just shows you that it's all nonsense. This is a map of that was published in a Hawaiian newspaper from 10 centuries ago, showing all these other continents out here. What's going on out there, right? So are these light years away, or are those, well, this is America, 3,000, so it would be 3, 6, 9, 12, 20,000 miles away. That's not far. We could do that, right? If we had a one of those craft from the secret.
How old is this, Dave? How old is this?
This was found in a Buddhist temple. It's supposedly 10 centuries old. Okay. And, the Globers will come out and go, it's a cartoon, whatever. All of the civilizations before us all knew that the earth was a level, non-rotating plane. And there's many, 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 many stories of things going on beyond Antarctica. There's the book, The Iron Republic. I highly recommend people read. And there's the Navigator Across the Ice Wall, all fascinating information. What if the world was set up like this? Here we are. This is us, right? South America, America. There's an opening here, and we can go out here. Extra land, extra territory, extraterrestrials from the outer space. Doable. Somebody can go in their advanced aircraft that we've backwards engineered in the secret space program, outer space program. They can come in here, abduct you, anally probe you, and get home in time to have dinner with their kids. Okay? Same day. Not billions and thousands of years traveling ridiculous miles to a scientifically impossible space vacuum. They can go out and back. Right?
How do you feel like the idea of the breakaway civilizations as well? Because I know that's something that works if there's somewhere for them to go.
So the story of the Iron Republic, basically in the late 1800s, there was a New York politician that was just fed up, sold all of his house and everything, bought a nice big ship, got a crew, was exploring Antarctica, found an opening, got sucked through the opening. They were lost at sea for 3 months, and none of the stars made sense. Then they saw land. They pulled up and they saw a city. Like, okay, let's wait until the morning. And there was no noise coming out of this city. And then all of a sudden a boat came out and they're like, they spoke English and they're like, hey, we're from, where are we? Like, this is the Iron Republic. We're from America. And the guy goes, where's the Iron Republic? And the guy said, the Iron Republic is on the other side of Antarctica, about the same distance as America is on your side. And basically it's a whole story. The guy went there. He lived there for like 10 years. He ended up getting married there. He found a wife, a woman. Then she ended up dying, I think. And he got distraught. He got his ship back and he made it back to Florida. And he told his story and wrote a series of articles in a Florida magazine that you cannot find a single copy of the actual magazine. They have been removed. There's a couple PDFs of 3 or 4 of the versions, but the entire thing is in a book. And it's quite fascinating what they're talking about. Whether the book is true or not doesn't matter. It does matter because I think it's true. It rings true. But they were talking about more land beyond Antarctica in the 1800s. So what happened? Why aren't we talking about this? Why aren't we allowed to go search out there? Right?
Well, you're aware of Admiral Byrd, aren't you?
Absolutely. So this has to do with and again, we do not need to go beyond Antarctica to prove the Earth is a level plane. I am speculating on what's out here. This is my opinion. But you guys want to talk about aliens? Everything you guys say about aliens is speculation. Now, there are abductions, there are stories, there are encounters. I believe in those also. I just say they're coming from closer. They're coming from the extraterra. If we live here in the center here, right? Out here are other ponds, other worlds with their own sun. These are pieces of the plane, a planet. Play on words, laugh at me, I don't care, right? So these are other worlds across our plane. Now, this is, if there's the story says that there's a super dome over the whole thing, and then each pond has its own energetic dome. And there's some people that can pass through and some people that can't. And there's people that are like, they call them the custodians. The custodians allow you through and not. Literally, it's the story of Star Wars. There's hostile lands, there's friendly lands, there's traversing in between lands. It's the story of Star Wars here on a scientifically possible realm versus outer frigging stupid space.
Have you ever considered that, like, you mentioned that the extraterrestrials are those ones outside of that, the ones that are coming in doing the probing and all that? Maybe maybe they're trying to protect us from.
Maybe listen, that's all to be discovered. But here's the thing: disclosures here, extraterrestrials are here. There's civilizations here. If you don't believe that, last year Japan found 7,000 new islands. Some very small, but some decent size. 7,000 islands that they never found before. We don't even know what's in our own pond.
No, sorry, David. I didn't mean the extraterrestrials protecting us. The government protecting us, and that's the reason why they won't let us past Antarctica.
Yeah,
Have you ever thought of it that way?
No, I think that the people in government are literally the most corrupt, disgusting, horrible, child molesting, blood drinking serpents. The horrible, just the insanity. Anyone that gets to any level of power. That's what I think.
On the same level.
Yeah, we're all of the same mind there.
So what if the Atlanteans and the Mayans and everything, what if they all just migrated out? They're like, you know what? F this place. We're going out. Okay. Because there's tyranny happening here. Could you imagine that tyranny happening? Oh, by the way, in the Iron Republic, when they said, how did you end up getting here? Like, well, we used to live where you did. He goes, but in the 1600s, there was some major tyranny going on and we all packed up and left. So now they don't want that to happen again. So they put us in a ball. They wrapped us in a ball, which is a prison for our mind. Boom. They wrapped us in a ball. And now you can't even imagine beyond there. Imagination builds your reality. Okay. They don't want us to use our imagination. They're limiting us to, if I said, hey, don't imagine a beautiful island in the middle of the South Pacific. Of course, you're going to imagine it immediately. But if you live in a paradigm where that wasn't even an option or a thing because you live on a ball and you know what's on that ball and that thing doesn't exist, you can't even imagine. So that's what they've done. It's a magic trick, and it's well done. Hats off to the controllers. They've really trapped people into this. But this is a great time of awakening. I don't think that it's gonna last. I think people are waking up faster and faster.
Animation back up on again. The animation.
Yeah.
I have to say, I do like that. Whoever made that, I like that. It would make a great.
Well, you know what's funny? A Glober made that, saying that's what they did they took the globe and they projected it out, and I just reversed it. It's pretty funny, but I have a better one. It's been a while, so I have to find this stuff. How would you know? Here we go. Is this it? Nope.
While you're looking for that, Dave, what do you think about the Tartaria stuff, which has sort of exploded from out of nowhere? Because I always think, as far as the flat Earth thing goes, is if that's true, and we've essentially been put in some sort of control mechanism, there had to be a point that there had to be a turning point from where we went from like the old world into this new world, and I've wondered for a while whether that was the Tartaria thing would have been the world where people might have been transitioning past the wall.
I think that there was. I mean, there's not even thinking. On my app, there's some Tartarian stuff. If you hit the web button, which is right there, the web one looks like a spider web. You scroll down, we got a Tartaria section right here, and the giant trees. That's mind-blowing stuff. And biogeology. You think you knew geology? That's another thing. And then also in the homeschool section, which you click the homeschool button right there, there's the top row. My lunch break. Have you guys ever heard of them? This guy? Yeah. My lunch break. He's the best. And he's basically showing that all of our history is a lie. These buildings that say were built in 1801 were built hundreds of years before that. They're finding stuff underground, underworld, stuff buried everywhere, every city, all over the place. So the Tartarian researchers, Tartaria is just a catchword. It's just a word, okay? There was a Tartarian empire. Was it worldwide? Was everything Tartaria? I don't know. I call it old world. By the way, Sean Hibbler from Hibbler Productions, who did the Level series, Level with Me, and the Next Level, he's working on a movie right now, and actually Stu Peters just is working on it, financing it, called Old World Order. Do not miss it when it comes out. It's coming out, I think, pretty soon. It's going to blow this stuff out of the ground. It's amazing. So,
I'm looking forward to that. I've emailed him a couple of times trying to get him on the podcast.
Well, now that you guys are going to be full on flat earthers, so he'll probably come on.
So past Antarctica, if there is other civilizations living out there, like different realms,
it could just be the outer space.
Do you think? Well, if there is, let's just go out there. Do you think they could be aware of us, or maybe they're in the same situation as us and they don't?
I think they look at us as dangerous and low-minded, and they don't want anything to do with us. That's my opinion. I don't know. I mean, but again, the navigator across the ice wall.
The Klingons of the situation.
Yes.
Definitely. We're the hood. We're the dangerous neighborhood nobody wants.
This comes from a video I call How Would You Know? So check this out. So here's the world, and they decided, hey, we're going to just draw a circle here, okay? We're going to draw a circle. And here we're going to build a gigantic wall that nobody can get through. And we're going to do the same up here. And then everyone just lives here in this little part of South America, Mexico, and the United States, a little bit of Canada, okay? And now you have freedom. You can go out on a boat. But if you get all the way out here, they're going to say, oh, no, you can't go any farther because it's too cold. It's too bad. Don't go out there. You're not allowed to go there. And it's guarded by 8 military bases all the way around. And that's what we actually have here. There's 8 military bases that go all the way around the world. that are way out south. The Falkland Islands is one. Remember that little war? What was going on there? So that's how they monitor and make sure nobody goes where they're not supposed to go. So you're in school, and they take that, they wrap it around a sphere, and they tell you this is all that there is, okay? And you're not allowed to explore this white area down here. And so you don't know about Africa, Australia, the UK. You don't know about any of this stuff because it's not even in your imagination, because this is all that there is. And you don't want to go here because whatever, there's dragons there, or whatever they do to scare you away. You're not allowed to go here, okay? So that's exactly what they did with us. If this is the world, 178 ponds, okay? This is, and we live in the center of this one. What they did is they cut it out, right? They cut it out. They wrapped it around a sphere, and they said, this is where you live, and you're not allowed to independently explore this white area, right? This is supposedly 13,000 miles around. Let me get that back. This is supposedly 13,000 miles around. 13,000 miles. And anytime anyone's tried to go around it, Captain Cook tried it, 3.5 years, he went over 68,000 miles. 68,000 miles. How bad of a navigator must he be? Unless he's going all the way around the flat Earth, that makes sense, 68,000 miles, because the equator is only 24,000 miles. 68,000 miles to go around here. Even if he went wide, maybe he would go 15,000 miles, 18,000 miles. 24,000 miles would be all the way around here. Well, 68,000 miles. So, as I said, this becomes
the measurement on that when you've unwrapped it. Has anybody done that?
Well, it's really hard because we can't even confirm the relationship of southern continents with each other. We don't have the ability to map that, and the only way you can do it is with GPS, and GPS is run by NASA. NASA has GPS scrolling all over the place. GPS, everyone in the world uses it, but it's closed source. The people that run it, NASA, have it as a closed source. No one's allowed to see the code. You know why? Because if you saw the code, you'd find out the Earth is flat. You'd find out how they're hiding. You know, GPS, what does it use? Longitude and latitude. That sounds pretty flat to me. Where's the friggin' Z-axis? Okay? There should be longitude, latitude, and the Z, right? There should be a 3-dimensional program, a 2-dimensional program. So, again, it becomes a prison for your mind when your mind can't think extendedly, can't think through the resources, through the special position that we have. Then you limit your ability to reach your full potential. You guys are onto something with this alien thing. You're just looking at it in a stupid space, fake fantasy, scientifically impossible, heliocentric bullshit space. When the truth is, we're on a level, stationary, non-rotating plane that we need to learn a lot more about, right? And the aliens, the extraterrestrials, now I think there's things underneath us too. I think there's 7 layers of reality, and we're just on a 3-dimensional one. Down below us is more dense. Above us, very close, we can see it, is a non-physical reality. We're here. We should all get together and demand, want disclosure, we should get there and demand free and unhampered exploration of Antarctica and the North. That's a whole nother thing. The whole North is a completely other thing. Have you guys seen my stuff on Kiribati?
I don't think so.
Okay, this one's going to help you. This one's going to help you guys a lot. So where are we? All right. So you can go on a ship tracking site, and you can find all the cruise ships in the world, all the cargo ships, and you can click on any one of them, click, and it'll tell you who the captain is, where it's going, how long it's been at sea, the size, the make, where it's registered. That's cool, right? You guys ever did that? I mean, it's simple. It's a ship tracking. We found a ship 730 miles inside the shoreline of Antarctica. How the heck is that possible? Right? And they said it's a fishing boat, right? 1.9 miles is the altitude of that plot of land, according to NASA or wherever, right? Then we found another one, zooming out a little bit, 905 miles. Okay, 905 miles puts it here. So the closest port is 905 miles, 2.37 miles above sea level. How does a working ship get there? Okay, so we started looking, and I showed you guys this map. I was like, well, if they cut this out, wrapped it around, and somehow their GPS, the way they report positions, it put them here. This would be the center of Antarctica, or anywhere around here would be near the center of Antarctica, because remember, it's wrapped around, crunched under. So they say it's a very important trade route, right? So that's interesting. So let's see what they have here. Oh, this is and the waters down there are crazy. This is supposedly one of the openings in between, like going in between the ice wall. But that doesn't have a lot to do with this story. So let me get back to where I'm going. So we found, we clicked on the ship, and it said it's 850 meters long by 80 meters wide. That is a massive ship. I don't know of any ship that big, but this is the one that's in the middle of Antarctica. And they said, all it said is registered in the nation of Kiribati. You guys ever hear of Kiribati?
Yeah,
before this conversation. Oh, you have?
I've heard of that. I think I might have heard it on your podcast.
Probably, yes, because I had to put a pin on it because it's literally a tiny little atoll sandbar in the middle of the South Pacific, right? Why does a big shipping container need to stop at Kiribati? China and America gave them $10 billion each recently, right? Why are we giving a sandbar $10 billion? Right. And also, I told you about Captain Cook. There's a Captain Cook, small little bed and breakfast on the island. Captain Cook. Maybe someone there doesn't prove anything. Just kind of funny. Right. And if we look at the ships, that are around Kiribati, they all have a destination of either unknown or Christmas Island. Have you guys looked into the Christmas whole thing with Christmas and Satan and Satan? Who knows? Some people say Kiribati is called Christmas Island, but very little information. Like, what are these ships doing there? Why are these giant ships there? What are they doing? Why is there such a big pier on this little island? Okay. And then if are you guys aware of the nuke hoax? Nukes don't exist. You guys are alien lovers, so you think that nukes do exist and aliens are trying to save us, right?
Yeah.
Nuclear bombs don't exist. Crow 777 radio, 2 hours in Crow. Go to episode, I forget the number, 35 and 400. And then you will know that nuclear bombs are just a fear tactic to keep us all in fear. Like when you're watching the news and they're like, Putin this, Putin that, it could start a nuclear war. Every cell in your body is now under distress, dis-ease. It's not at ease. And that's what they want. But me, when I hear that, I'm like, oh, he's a clown. What a clown. I just laugh because I know that nuclear bombs don't exist. So that's a whole nother story. That's not where I'm going with this. But there's crazy stuff with nuke testing. And look at these guys. This is an Army guy. He said it was so bad, I put my hands over my face and I could see the bones through my hands. Like he's watching Bugs Bunny, I think. I mean, you don't see the bones through your hand if you're hit with any amount of radiation. Okay? So stupid. So stupid. And then they show this article and these guys, look, a nuclear bomb's going off. These guys are walking around. No one's even looking. No one's even hitting the deck, running away. And then they show this. This is a picture that's been circulating forever, but they use it on a Kiribati article. I think they don't want anyone going to Kiribati. So then when we look at time zones, on a globe, there's no reason there shouldn't be 24 lines from the North Pole to the South Pole, equally spaced like sections of an orange. And that's your time zones as the Earth spins and the sun is noon, wherever it is, right? But there's this crazy time zone right here that zigzags over. And if you look at it, it goes across 3.5 time zones. And what's right here, which I'll call the most suspicious spot of all? That would be Kiribati. Okay. Why is Kiribati there? What does it mean that Kiribati's there? And the answer is, I have no friggin' idea other than it's more than interesting. Okay. So here's my theory. If this is the map of the world, maybe Kiribati is an important trade route. Kiribati's here, and they're going out here to the breakaway civilizations. Maybe they're getting computer chips to tuna fish. Maybe they're trading humans. Yeah. Maybe they're getting weapons. Maybe they're getting technology. Who knows?
It's funny you bring up trade route because I just found out something the other day I didn't know, and I know we kind of talked about governments all being evil. Are you familiar with the 1982 LA container that was found and the atrocities there? Didn't make big news. No one really talked about it. Yeah, it was the bodies of 17,000 infants that were carted up and preserved in a shipping container bound out. That got lost up in paperwork.
Do you guys know about the orphan trains?
Which ones?
So in the early 1900s,
World War I ones or the World War II ones?
Yeah, orphan trains showed up everywhere to repopulate the earth. And some of the stories that came out of there that I heard, like some of the kids, like none of them have any recollection of who the parents are. And some of them didn't have belly buttons. Okay. I don't know. I have no proof of that. That's one of the stories I heard. That could be fake. I don't know, but it's more than interesting. So maybe there's a way that this realm repopulates itself. Maybe they're coming from the outer lands. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe they have baby breeding farms. I don't know. And that's a perfectly fine answer. Globers think they know everything.
There's a town in England. I've forgotten the name of the town now. It's named after these children that turned up.
The Green Kids.
The Green Kids, yeah. And they spoke a language that they just couldn't comprehend. The brother eventually died, and eventually the girl, she her skin started to turn white, and she got married, but they just turned up and they spoke a language that they'd never heard of.
Right. What's a good explanation from that? Did they come from 25 trillion miles away, if they're lucky, from the closest star? Or did they come from 25,000 miles away across Antarctica?
The idea of making a pass through and doing trade, and like something I've never understood about like the alleged human markets and sacrifice and all that is like, where are all these people going? Like what you're talking about a consumption rate. Like if you look at it, it's like a consumption rate on an active farm, right? Like you're raising cattle for slaughter. Like you're doing this, this is the exchange rate. We're talking the people that go missing. Now, if you're talking, we got exchanges with people from the outer bounds of a different continent where everyone's hiding.
Think about it. I mean, there could be, our little world is just the 1% of the population, right? And there's evidence, if you watch some of the Tataria stuff, that there was trillions and trillions of people here in our area, in our circle, trillions and trillions living peacefully and in style. And so this whole population hoax, the overpopulation, is just nonsense. We don't even have 8 billion people here. They're lying about that also. On the homeschool section of my app, you can find it at flatearthdave.com. This is another one. Jake, I'm the Improbable Dreamer on Instagram, and I think he's on YouTube now too. Here's the link to his stuff. Short videos. I like short videos. People just don't have time. I don't have time to watch anything. All right, I'll watch a 1-minute video. I'll watch a 2-minute video. And then you start watch his stuff. You'll get hooked, right? Airships, Cabbage Patch Kids. Have you looked into the Cabbage Patch Kids? Holy crap, man.
I have.
Holy crap. Holy crap.
Even down to like the things with the world's fairs, with all the children incubators and stuff like that.
John Levy and the World's Fairs. He does amazing work. Again, this whole top row right here is just amazing stuff. This is I call this the homeschool section. This is better than any college, and it's super cheap and it's free. Most of it's free. Crow, half of his show is free. If you want to pay $8 a month, which I think I call it Crow University. Don't send your kids to college, right? Don't send your kids to college. Have them listen to 5 episodes of Crow every week. There's 400 in the burner, and he's coming out with a new one every week. By the time you even get halfway through that, your kid's going to be more educated, more useful in society, more attractive than any college kids from any college anywhere. College is the way they keep the population down. I had 2 kids. You know why? I was afraid. God, college, 2 kids. That's it. I'm done. A boy and a girl. I'm done. I might have had more if I realized I didn't have to send them to college. Right? College is the number one way, besides poisoning us and killing us and making us work, and all of that, of keeping the population down where they can control it. Here's the problem. As we grow in numbers, our collective consciousness, the power of our minds, can overrule these archonic scumbags, and they don't want us. They want us separated. They want us living, in very low population. If you look at the Georgia Guidestones, which is also in your preview,
Polaris.
That says they want the population down to 500 million. 500 million, right? 500 million. Never let it go above 500 million. Polaris, the center hole, there's a hole. You look through it, there's Polaris. Now, how is that possible? How is it possible that the Earth is spinning, whirling, and twirling, going in 4 different directions at once, right? We're spinning 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. We're orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. We're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. And the entire galaxy is moving sideways at like millions of miles per hour. Okay. All of that's going on. Most of they say 80% of the stars in our solar system are binary, which means they're orbiting around each other. They're now saying that Polaris is a trinary star where there's 3 stars going in some crazy helical orbit. But no 2 stars have ever changed positions due to parallax, even though we're traveling all of these billions and trillions of miles every year. And Polaris stays right in that hole, right? That is, if you can't get that through your head, I can't help you, right? But
it is a strange thing that hole was there in the Guidestones. It's like, what a strange part.
It's gone now.
And there was a slit also that showed you the equinoxes too. So it was a calendar and a clock. So the answer in the heliocentric model is, well, Polaris is so far away that even though we're moving trains and trains of miles, it would be like, you're looking at a tree on top of a mountain and you moved a fraction of a millimeter, right? That's the equivalent. And so there would be no parallax even after thousands and thousands and thousands of years. Nonsense, stupid, ridiculous. And we could prove that you couldn't see stars at that distance, but that's a whole nother conversation. However, so the other thing is they also tell us the Earth wobbles 1 degree every 76 years. Well, 1 degree is 3 moon widths. Okay. So the Georgia Guidestones were built in 1981 and they were up for over 40 years. That means it's wobbled at least 0.5 degree. And if the wobble's not there, the entire heliocentric model falls apart. It moves 0.5 degree. That's a moon width and a half. It would have been far out of that hole. It was still there, right in the center of the hole. Hasn't moved at all. And I started talking about it. People started making videos about it. And then, ba-boom, a terrorist blew up the Georgia Guidestones. And within 2 or 3 hours, bulldozers were there to take away all the evidence.
That's how you cover up a
conspiracy. A preponderance of evidence. They're hiding all of the videos from you. They're putting warning labels on every good flat Earth video. They're blowing up the Georgia Guidestones. They're making up space. They're everything. You don't need it all. You only need one, and we provide thousands.
The way they tore down those Guidestones afterwards with the bulldozers and cleaned that up, it was so obvious because anyone who knows anything about explosives, every bomb is a fingerprint. Like the chemical makeup, the triggering mechanism, you can find out how they found out about it. Where did they look? What were they putting together? Immediately wrapped up and hauled off. It's like, I feel like they should have investigated a little more.
Yeah. It was the next day. It was the next day. We did. I think we did a show the day out. Straight away. We did the day after. Yeah. Like the next day, they just took him down. Health and safety, they said. I think.
So many people there.
Wow. So I think it's going to be. We're getting close to the end here, guys.
Sure. Yes, we are.
Yeah.
So don't believe anything I said. Hopefully, I pointed to some doors that you never saw before. Any of you get in touch with Richard Dolan? Richard, come talk to me. Disclosure is here. Okay, the secret space program's real, but it's here. It's not up there. It's going out. Why are all the largest telescopes in the south looking south? Why aren't they looking up? Why are they looking out? Because why aren't they looking up into the outer space? They're not. They're looking out south. They're all pointing south.
Dave, I've got to ask you this: if Elon Musk got in touch and said, "Listen, Dave, You might be
aware.
aware.
I'm going to take you to space, right? Is that what you're going to say?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. What?
Yeah.
It's all paid for. He says, "I'll take you." Would you say no?
So let me ask you a question. If Walt Disney came back from the dead and said, "Hey, I'm going to put you physically in a cartoon with Bugs Bunny and Roadrunner," would you do it? It's a ridiculous question. It's a ridiculous question. It's a ridiculous question. So it's not going to happen. It's a funny question. You know, it's like, hey, you know, sure, put me on a rocket.
Sense of humor.
No human has ever been on a rocket. Go to my website, flatearthdave.com. Scroll down until you see the banner that has all pictures of Elon Musk on it. Click it, watch it. There's a 5 or 7 minute video. It'll show you that everything that he did before SpaceX, including SpaceX, is a lie. It's a lie. It's a short video, and basically it's showing you that he's just a propped up puppet. And I go back and forth on whether he knows that he's lying or he's just completely and totally mind controlled. He looks kind of like a mind controlled guy. Maybe they even like operated on his brain. I don't know. But all the stuff he talks about is complete bullshit.
So what do you think about him? Just quickly before we wrap it up, what do you think his role is then? Given the fact that he's essentially given us the only place where we can actually talk without thinking about getting thrown off it. That's
interesting. You know, I go back and forth on his paid possessed puppetness. I don't know. They want to keep him where people are bowing down to him. The crypto people, you know, that all bought Dogecoin love him because he propped that up. And SpaceX is taking us to space, so he's captured the other half of the world. They want to keep us minds in outer space. So sure, they gave us Twitter, where we're not that free on Twitter. Like there's people that are just still blocked on Twitter. Anyone that's saying anything good, like Max Egan, anytime he gets going, they shut him down right before it's going to make a difference. So there's they give us a little bit because if they constantly censored us faster, like the amount of censorship now that's going on, if they just tried this amount like 5 years ago, there would have been a revolution. But they do a little bit, they take it back. They do a little more, they take it back. They do a little, so they're inching us forward. They're putting us at where the frog in the pot boiling slowly and we don't even notice it. I notice it, all right? But most people are fast asleep. The people in your audience that are being triggered that you're talking to a flat earther, prove the earth is a globe and I'll shut it all down. I'll give you your 3 Bitcoins. It'll all be gone. But you can't, because if you do, your paradigm's going to change. But you do not lose aliens, extraterrestrials, secret space program. You do not lose it. You make it possible. You bring it closer to home, right? So anyone listening to the show that's in that community that goes to these summits, I know you guys have these contact in the desert and everything. Invite me there. Let me present to you guys there. Right? Let me show you that you're looking at the wrong paradigm. Your children trapped in a ball world, and you're not questioning the foundation of every decision that you're making. The stuff that you're saying about government corruption, hiding extraterrestrials, if you knew what extraterra was, more land here on Earth, then everything will change. You know, the Richard Dolan and other, I keep picking on Richard, but you know, he's the only name I can remember right now. You guys feel that, you know, disclosure is hundreds of years away, thousands of years away, you know, actually, you know, because space is so big. It's not. It's right here. It's happening now. There are people going back and forth. Those ships prove it, right? There's too many stories of stuff like that. And the stories that you're telling me about those kids and everything. Yeah. Yes, it's all real. And there's so much that we don't know. But one thing that we all do know is that the space is a scientifically impossible, made up reality. And they have to make it so big, it dilutes God. It dilutes the creator. It makes you just an insignificant speck in the middle of nowhere, right? We are in the center. That entire map of 178 ponds is in the center of creation. Here, it's very easy. It's very easy to see once you can see. So break the ball programming. Go to my channel, DITRH, stands for Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. That's on YouTube. That's the easiest step. I have my videos there. Anything over 5 minutes is considered a documentary. All my videos are short. That'll get you in. FlatEarthDave.com. Get my app. It's $3. It's amazing. It does so many things. And research. Take the time. They want you so busy, so lost, watching sports, drinking alcohol, and not thinking about where you live and your true potential. You work your life away. You get 2 weeks off a year to vacation, and then when you're too old to enjoy yourself, you retire and you're sick and you die. That's what they want. They want you busy. And here's the thing. I think it's really a spiritual war, and they want our energy. They're literally draining us like the Matrix. They're taking our energy, our fear energy. That's what they live off. They're archonic, sucking on our fear energy. I'm not afraid. Okay. And if we all weren't afraid, and if we all ignored the government would have zero power. Zero. Mm-hmm. What is government? Those are the people that you pay attention to. I don't pay attention to them.
I thought they were pedophiles.
They're pedophiles too.
And that's a good one to end it on. Dave, thanks for coming, man. This was fantastic. I would love to have you again.
All right, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks. All right. Check me out, FlatEarthDave.com. There's if you have a podcast you want me on, there's a book Flat Earth Dave button. Click it. Tell me about your podcast. And we'll go from there. And welcome to Flat Earth, boys. I'll let Sean know.
Going on, man.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. See ya.
See you later, buddy.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Let's suppose that you were able every night to dream any dream you wanted to dream. And that you could, for example, have the power within one night to dream 75 years of time, or any length of time you wanted to have. And you would naturally, as you began on this adventure of dreams, you would fulfill all your wishes. You would have every kind of pleasure you could conceive. And after several nights of 75 years of total pleasure each, you would say, well, that was pretty great. But now let's have a surprise. Let's have a dream which isn't under control. Well, something is going to happen to me that I don't know what it's going to be. And you would dig that and come out of that and say, wow, that was a close shave, wasn't it? And then you would get more and more adventurous, and you would make further and further out gambles as to what you would dream. And finally, you would dream where you are now.
Damn, you're getting good at those intro and outros. It's unbelievable. Are we gonna update these damn channel membership Tic Tacs?
Yeah, we still go on.
Yeah. We'll
Also,
get
17,000 infants in a container, 1982 in Los Angeles. Look it up, people.
That's wild. Yeah, and whatever the conspiracy you're into, we're here for you.
Hell yeah, we'll lube it, work it, let you show it to the world.
Also, buy some t-shirts.
Oh yeah,
all the t-shirts.
There's
all
literally
the t-shirts.
One month left of these, and then we're changing them.
Yeah,
the next match.
All new range of t-shirts next week. Thanks for sticking around, guys.
We love you.